So I'm here with Calin Yakimchuk. Calin was one of the students that prepare labs for the winter 2026, and one specific lab was the checkers lab.
Yes.
So tell us about the lab. What does the lab do?
So the checkers lab, you're going to use the MMIO interface in RARS to create an interactive checkers lab that you can play a checkers game.
And so why is this lab interesting? What are the kinds of things that the students are going to learn doing this lab?
So the things that you're going to learn in this lab is you're going to learn how to handle interrupts. You're going to learn how to handle exceptions, kind of as a extension of that. You're going to learn how to manipulate and use bit vectors. So you're going to get really familiar with bitwise operations. And you're going to create a fun game that's easy to test because it's a relatively simple lab.
So in this environment that we have in RISC-V, we don't have graphics per se, so we're not going to have cute little pieces drawing on the graphics. So how do you do the display in the lab? What was your solution?
So for the display, we're just going to display the entire board and all the pieces as in like an ASCII, ASCII text.
So it's all text display, but
yeah,
it's going to look like
all
graphics?
Formatted, yeah.
Because the ladders are going to be moving around the board as you do the movements.
Yeah, the pieces are going to move around, and then obviously you're going to have the framing of the board and the squares. That's just going to be done with more characters such as dashes, pluses, and the like.
So that sounds like a fun lab to work on.
Yeah.
You were a student in 229 not long ago, and you created this lab.
Yes.
So if I'm a student, I'll be like, does this guy know what he's doing? Is this lab full of holes and problems that I'm going to find when I'm trying to work and wasting my time? What kind of measures were done to prevent that?
So to verify all our labs and make sure they're not full of a bunch of holes or missing a bunch of information, we follow kind of a three-step process. We create the lab first, so I create the lab, and then I pass it to someone who, without being involved in the creation process, is going to review it and see if everything makes sense and go line by line, making sure everything makes sense grammatically, the code works, the solution is valid, and then after that's all been done and approved and a discussion further has been had, we pass it on to another unaffiliated solver, and they're going to solve the entire lab without any help from us. This is so that we're able to get a good idea of how the lab looks for someone who didn't create it.
So we have this peer review process, right?
Yes.
You create the lab, then another student will do this peer review with you and back and forth about what possible problems are.
Yes.
And then finally someone that has not seen anything and cannot talk to you will solve the lab and then tell you where there were some problems, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds very good. So I'm looking forward for using this lab in this term, and thank you very much for creating it.